Om Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं हरिः ओम. परम पूज्य Guruji Swami Tejomayananda ji has written a very famous book, Tips for Happy Living, Jeevan Sutrani. In that, various instructions are given. Those are very, very useful for all of us while living our life. So, that we will see in brief. In this, the chapters are introduction. First is there, lessons from life on life. Then sutra literature, about that Guruji elaborates a little. And then 7 chapters are there. They are take charge, perform to potential, empowerment, workable tips, harmony in relationships, relating with things, and mind your mind. So, first is introduction, lessons from life on life. Live and outlive. People are fascinated with knowing about life after death. But knowing about life after death life after birth is more important and relevant. Many in this world are merely existing, some surviving, a few really living, a rare few living happily, and the rarest outliving life itself. There is a saying in Hindi, चलती का नाम गाड़ी, चलती का नाम गाड़ी. Since it is moving, it is called a car. Just because a person is breathing and moving around, is he truly alive? He is merely existing. Some bungle their way through life. Some are seen to be barely surviving, one crisis after another, bashed up, hurt, and limping through life. Some through manipulation and cunning attain ordinary goals. Some live ordinary lives, that too complaining and cursing. However, some happily dance through life, sporting and playing ordinary or extraordinary roles, gaining mastery over themselves and others, making a mark wherever they go, and touch the lives of all they come in contact with. Such extraordinary people are rare and are remembered long after their departure. Recently, I had an occasion to collect and pen my thoughts into sutras or aphoristic statements. This style of literature is unique to India and very effective in communicating subtle ideas, which, when reflected upon, reveal great depth. Refer Sutra literature. These sutras are based on lessons learned from my experience of life, my trials and tribulations, failures and successes, mistakes and achievements, They come from my experience of what I have learned from the scriptures, saints, and sages. This compilation is not a Vedantic text but tips for happy living, which will teach us how to truly live our and outlive our life. Living life according to Jivan Sutrani can transform us from the ordinary to the extraordinary. May all be happy. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Many people have put in extraordinary efforts to transform my words into this beautiful book. May all be blessed. Sutra literature. When a topic is with an dealt with in an aphoristic style, in cryptic and brief statements, they are called sutras or aphorisms. Sanskrit literature abounds with sutras. Even subjects like grammar were taught in sutra form. The Panini Sutras are very famous. Then there are Yoga Sutras of Patanjali Muni and Jaimini Sutras on the Karma Kanda. The great sage Vedvyas brought out the subtle essence of the Upanishads in his renowned Brahma Sutras. What is a sutra? अल्पाक्षरमसन्दिग्धं सारवत् विश्वतोमुखम् अस्तोभमनवद्यं च सूत्रं सूत्रविदो विदुः. The knower of sutras define it as that which has minimum words, is free from ambiguity, meaningful, multifaceted, without any superfluous words, and is flawless. Alpaksharam, with minimum words. When we write a personal letter, we express our feelings elaborately and describe events at length. In olden days, people used to send telegrams conveying news in minimum words. For example, father serious, return immediately, or wife delivered boy. Similarly, sutras too convey their deep meaning with minimum words. Second, asandigdham, free from ambiguity. The sutra should be free from ambiguity even though it has minimum words. A man received a telegram with words coming, receive. Now he was left wondering who is coming, from where, when, where should I receive him, her, at the bus station or at a railway station. The sutras are clear in their meaning, unlike the telegram mentioned above, and leave no scope for ambiguity or confusion. 3. Saravat, meaningful. Sutras are statements with deep meaning and reveal great truths. Each word is well chosen and meaningful. They do not talk of mundane or worldly matters and are not to be understood literally or superficially. I learned and wise men have revealed a wealth of meaning in the sutras through their commentaries and treatises. Our one hears of a humorous story in which there was a competition on the discussions on scriptures in a village. Learned scholars from Varanasi and Mecca, Varanasi, the Mecca of learning, had come to the village, confident of winning the verbal match. The villagers were at loss who should represent against the scholars and safeguard the prestige of the village. One villager volunteered. He confidently initiated the competition with the question Pava iti kim sutram. What is the meaning of the sutra Pava? The Pandits had never heard of it. They thought if in the very first round their ignorance is exposed, further rounds would only cause more humiliation. They admitted defeat and left because, without even asking what the sutra meant. The jubilant villagers later asked him for its meaning. The villager said, I too do not know. They are just some letters I put together. A sutra cannot be meaningless like the above example. 4. Vishwato Mukham, multifaceted. A sutra should be able to throw light on many aspects of the topic. Also, we should be able to look at it from various standpoints. Fifth, Astobham, without any superfluous words. A sutra should not have any extra words. In poetry, each meter has a fixed number of letters. Sometimes, while composing a piece, a poet falls short of one letter. In Sanskrit, he could use a filler word like chavai hatu so as to complete the meter. Pada puranartham. Such words have no separate meaning. One cannot add or subtract any word to a sutra, as every word is important and required to convey the overall meaning. 6. Anavadyam, flawless. The language of the sutras in terms of grammar and choice of words must be flawless and its meaning conveyed faultless. The words should not convey any double meaning or with negative connotations. Sutra also means a thread. The words of a sutra act as a thread, stringing together the principles and various aspects of the topic. Bhakti sutras hold together the pearls of devotion, and Yoga sutras the gems of yoga. 3. Sushanat Sutra iti ahuhu. Being indicators, they are called sutras. Sutras indicate the meaning of concepts or the truths. We have to contemplate on the meaning indicated to get at the truth. We need to dive deep and discover the gems hidden within the words. The words give us a clue by which we can unravel the mystery and gain right knowledge. For example, the detective picks up blonde hair clue from the crime site. His investigation on the clue leads him to the criminal. If someone has difficulty to answering riddles, then they are given some hints and clues to help them out. The sutras too give us clues to help us understand the subject. Fourth, the sutras are easy to carry knowledge capsules. It is always easier to remember a formula than to remember lengthy sentences and paragraphs. The formula, if remembered and understood, can, can always be elaborated upon when needed. If I remember and understand E is equal to mc square, I can elaborate upon the theory of relativity. The sutras are such formulae that help us remember the subject in a capsule form. First chapter, take charge. अथ जीवन सूत्राणि प्रस्तूयन्ते. Now the aphorisms on life are presented. Well begun. A good start keeps man ahead in the race. The sound of conch or bell heralds a sacred event. An auspicious beginning indicates a fruitful and fulfilling journey ahead. The Lord started this creation after chanting the two auspicious words Atha and Om, and they are therefore believed to bring auspiciousness to all human endeavors. All sutra literature thus starts with a word Atha. The Sanskrit language is not just a medium of communication but also conveys the philosophy and culture of our land. The passive voice is used often in Sanskrit. It indicates that the doer of action, the subject, is only an instrument and not of prime importance. What is done through the subject is more important. In the Hindu scriptures, very often the author's name is not given at all or written at the bottom. The English language uses active voice more often, and author's names are printed prominently on the cover page, many a times bolder than the title of the book itself. Instead of saying, I present aphorisms, it is said here, the aphorisms are presented by me. The lessons learnt by me are valuable. The opportunity to pen them and talk on them only helps me to reflect upon my experiences and strengthen my knowledge. Testing time. The lessons of life presented through these tips or sutras are culled from the lessons learned from life's experiences. In schools, the lessons are taught first and the tests taken afterwards. In life, the tests come first, the lessons are learnt afterwards. In life, we are tested again and again, and new lessons are learnt each time. In life, anyone can test us at any time, in any way. Also, anyone and everyone seems to evaluate, grade, or judge us, and we seem to have no say in either the test or the evaluations. How much more do we need to prepare ourselves for facing the tests of life? Why should I learn the lessons of life? Why not let life itself teach them to me? यज्ञात्वाभ्यस्य च जीवनं सुखाय भवति. Knowing and practicing which life becomes easy and happy. Life is what you make of it. I once came upon a book which started with the sentence, "Life is difficult." Another said right the opposite, "It is difficult to accept that life is difficult." The third said, "Life is simple. We make it complicated." All three statements are true. It depends on how you view life and live it. People live their lives in different ways. For example, some people borrow books and never return. A man advised his friends, "Never lend a book to anyone as it is never returned." Friend said, "How do you know?" He replied, "That is how I made my library." Some returned the book, but in a terrible condition, with scribbles, frayed edges, and torn pages. Some return it in the same condition, and yet others in a better condition than when borrowed. A man had a strange shopping list of 20 cockroaches, 15 spiders, 3 lizards, and half a kilo of dust. When asked, he said, "The landlady has asked me to leave the flat in exactly the same condition as when I first came in." So, how do we live our life? Do we live well and leave the world a better place? Do we mess up our lives and make it terrible for others? Do we complicate matters and make it difficult for others? Are we problem creators, problem solvers, or ourselves problems? We should live in such a way that we make life simple, easy, and happy for ourselves and for others. We therefore need to learn how to do so. Life's lessons. Cannot life itself teach me lessons? True, life is the best teacher. However, a wise man learns from other people's mistakes, a fool from his own, and a bigger fool never. Instead of learning by trial and error or hit and miss, then test those method, we could learn from the wisdom of others and then test those lessons through our own experiences. Wrong lessons. There is also a chance of learning the wrong lessons from life. A teacher was demonstrating the ill effects of alcohol to her class. She put some worms in a beaker of alcohol. The worms struggled and died. "What lesson do you learn from this?" asked the teacher. A student concluded, "Whenever you get worms in the stomach, drink alcohol." The lessons from the wise help us to validate our knowledge, knowing and doing. Puja Gurudev once said, "Knowing is not doing, doing is doing." Knowing how to live well is not enough. We must put the learned lesson into practice. Then alone does life become easy and happy. Having learnt the lessons from the scriptures, you should perform actions. ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुमिहार्हसि. Gita chapter 16 verse 24. What is the life and how should we live it? जीवने द्विविधं कार्यं प्राप्त परिस्थिति प्रतिकार स्वभविष्य निर्माणं च. There are two imperatives in life: to deal with situations as they come and to create one's future. Facing life. Each day of our life, we are faced with various situations. They may be pleasant, unpleasant, unexpected, horrifying, terrifying, wonderful, boring, testing, gainful, painful, and so on. We have no choice but to face them. The important thing is, how do we respond to life's challenges? With what attitude? Do they overwhelm and overpower us? Are we able to play our role with poise? Do we get bowled over, or do we hit a sixer? Bowled over, or do we hit sixer? Do we stumble, grumble, or crumble, or bounce back and march ahead? A man won 25 lakh rupees in a lottery. He feared his wife would faint on hearing such unbelievable news. His friend volunteered to tell her. He said, "If you win a lottery of 25 lakhs, what will you do?" She said, "I will give you half the money." The friend fainted. We must learn how to breathe through the situations of life with a smile. That is why Poojya Gurudev gave the Chinmaya Vidyalaya as the motto, keep smiling through all the challenges of life. In fact, the challenges faced should stimulate us, the obstacles should challenge us, and the difficulties bring out the best in us, making your life. Life is not just about facing situations, there is more to it. We can achieve our goals, fulfill our dreams, carve out a better future, and create our own destiny. In the process of facing challenges, we should not get so tired or distracted that we have no energy or we forget our goals. In fact, our goals should be so inspiring that the challenges become the fun of the journey in reaching our destination. However, for those who do not have a goal or dreams, their life is spent only in facing situations. For them, life can get difficult, empty, stressful, and painful. A man was told by his astrologer that he would have difficulties for 7.5 years. He asked hopefully, "Will things improve thereafter?" The astrologer said, "No, but by then you will get used to them." Can I not live another's life? Can another not face my life's challenges for me? The following sutra says, "Tatranyasyanyen jivanam jivitum na shakyate." There, one cannot live the life of someone else. Living my own life, I can live for another person or a cause, but I cannot live another's life. However, however close I am, or however strong my desire may be, nor can another live my life. If I am hungry, I alone will have to eat and satiate my hunger. When my hunger, when a child eats well, the mother feels satisfied, but her hunger pangs do not go away. This may seem rather obvious to many, but its implication is at times not well understood. Often we wish that someone else would face difficult situations for us. Sometimes we want to shield others from facing unpleasant situations. Parents become tense and worried when their children have exams. This is meaningless. They cannot give their children's exams. Sometimes you get admission in many colleges. You have to decide which one to accept. If someone else decides and the decision is wrong, you will blame others for your difficulties. We alone have to take charge of our life and face it. Can one not do anything for other? Do others have no role in our life? Parasparam sahayam tu sambhavati. Mutual help, however, is possible. Empowering. Yes, we can play an important role in others' lives and they in ours. We can support, motivate, and help each other. This help is also possible up to a certain extent. You can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink. A person with legal problems seeks a lawyer's advice. The lawyer may give him various options. Thereafter, he will have to decide and face the consequences of his choice. At a party, a doctor asked a lawyer, I get troubled even at social functions with people seeking medical advice. What should I do? How do you deal with such a situation? The lawyer said, after advising, I send them a bill. That stops them. The next day, the doctor received a bill from the lawyer. Also, help is not always forthcoming. Therefore, one should not always wait, seek, and become dependent on external support or facing every situation. For facing every situation of life, one should not seek favors unnecessarily to make others dependent whilst helping them. However, when help is really needed, we should not hesitate to take it or give it. A student with financial constraint studies on scholarship and later on when he prospers in life, he supports the education of others in need. Such mutual help leads to progress and prosperity for all. Parasparam bhavayanta shreyaf paramavapsitha. Gita chapter 3 verse 11. What obstructs the easy flow of help? साहाय्यस्य स्वीकरणे प्रदाने वा अहंकारो न करणीयः. In accepting or giving this help, there should be no ego or arrogance. Ego is the biggest obstacle in giving and help. Receiving help. We should not become dependent on others. Ask for unnecessary help or make it a habit of asking others. A habitual borrower asked his neighbor, are you going to play hockey today? Expecting him to ask for the hockey stick, he replied, yes. The man said, good. Then could I borrow your cricket bat? However, When there is a genuine need, we should not let our pride come in the way. Some refuse to ask, but accept help when given voluntarily. Some take pride in never accepting others' help. They feel, I will not stretch my hand in front of anyone. I will not accept anyone's favor. I do not want to come under anyone's obligation. Whilst driving, a man got lost. His pride would not allow him to ask for directions. Finally, he realized he would have to. He spotted a local man relaxing on the side of the road. He asked, where does this road lead to? The man said, I do not know. Annoyed, the driver said, you are stupid. Being a local, you do not know even this much. The man replied, I may be stupid, but I am not proud and I am not lost. Some ask, they will, some say, they will not take any help from God, yet they easily ask others. The giver is the only Lord. The giver is only the Lord. All others are beggars. Data ek Ram, Bhikhari sari dunya. Sudama, the poor Brahmin, had a subtle ego that he would not ask anything from his best friend Shri Krishna. His wife finally persuaded him to go and meet Shri Krishna. When he met Lord Shri Krishna, he was given everything unasked. Helping others. Some feel that the giver's hand is always above the receiver's. They are somehow better off because they are better off. They give with an air of superiority, humbling the receiver with their words and gestures. They feel they have obliged the receiver. People show various attitudes in helping others. Some give with pride, some out of pity, some for a selfish purpose, some indifferently, some when compelled, some as a habit, some with humility, some when asked, some unasked, some reluctantly, some when instructed by others, some as a social obligation, and some as a meritorious action. What should be our attitude in giving and receiving help? Jivanam vinaye naiva shobhate. Life becomes beautiful only with humility. Stoop to conquer. A person may have everything knowledge, wealth, and virtues, but if he is not humble, all is in vain. All else becomes beautiful with humility. Humility is listed first among the 20 essential values in the Gita, chapter 13, verse 7. True knowledge endows humility. Vidya dadhati vinayam. Poojya Gurudev used to say, it is a strange value. The moment you think you have it, you have lost it. An outer show of humility is not humility. When all pride, mana, disappears, what remains is humility, amana. The great Saint Rahim was quite prosperous and known for his generosity. He always kept his eyes down as he gave others. When questioned, he said, I cannot meet the eyes of people as they falsely praise My generosity. It is the Lord alone who gives. When a person gives with arrogance, the receiver's ego reacts. Keep your knowledge and wealth with yourself. When we help others with humility, the receiver too feels humble. Even if the giver is not humble, the receiver should be humble, grateful, and appreciative and value the help and generosity of the giver. The chapter concludes with Tasmat Jivanabharam Svikritya Sarvaprayatnena Tat Safali Kuryat. Therefore, accepting the responsibility of one's life, one should, with all efforts, make it a success. Make it happen. Having understood that we alone have to face life and build it, we must take full charge of it. We must become accountable for this precious life given to us and own responsibility for making it a success or a failure. We cannot complain about life's situation and blame others for what we make of it. Also, we cannot live in false hopes that success will come our way without efforts. The only thing that happens without effort is growing old. A young man was asked, "What have you done to become a 25-year-old person?" He replied, "I did not die despite my driving." That was God's doing, not yours. That we live and grow in nature's is nature's efforts. How we live and progress is our efforts. We must put forth efforts to grow gracefully and successfully. There are four types of people: those who make it happen, those who talk of make it happen, those who talk of what happened, and those who wonder what happened. We have to take charge of our lives and make it happen. Chapter 2: Perform to Potential. Are not a chosen few born to succeed? सर्वे जनाः सफलतामाप्तुं योग्याः समर्थाश्च. All people are eligible and capable of achieving success. Born to succeed. Some believe that success is for a lucky few who are born under a special star or are blessed by special grace. Others feel that success comes to people because of high connections, family wealth, or other external influences. Some say, "I can never succeed, I am good for nothing." Others think X is a gone case, a failure. That is not true. All can succeed, even me, even X. No one is capable of success. Ayogyo, no one is incapable of success. Ayogyo Purusho Nasti. But it is indeed rare to find one who recognizes one's or another's potential and taps it. Prayoktastatra durlabha. What is said for an individual is also true for an organization, community, community, or nation. Just as an individual must face challenges and take charge of carving a better just for Just as an individual must face challenges or take charge of carving a better future, so also an organization or a nation. India was under British rule for more than 200 years. It was only when some individuals inspired the nation to rise and fight for their independence that the British had to quit India. It would not have been given on a platter. Someone from outside would not have driven them out. A child was asked, "Who gave you a black eye?" He said, "It was not given just like that. I had to fight for it." All members of an organization have to own responsibility and work for its success. They have to recognize their strength, find their own resources, plan out their programs, and work hard to achieve their goals. Singapore was a small fishing land, completely dependent on mainland Malaysia. When it was expelled from Malaysia, it was shattered. How would they survive? However, recognizing its potential as a port and a banking center, its visionary leader Lee Kuan Yew made many futuristic plans, inspired the people to work them out, and within a short span of time, it became one of the most prosperous countries of Southeast Asia. Everyone is born to succeed. Do not underestimate yourself or another. Lee Kuan Yew. How can all be capable of success? Yasmat Swatantrata Manushya Janmano Visheshata. Since freedom is the speciality of human life, human birth is special. What is so special about human beings that makes all capable of success? Animals are guided by their instincts. They are not equipped to overcome their conditionings. They have to they have no freedom to do so. A cow is choicelessly a herbivore. However, the physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual personality of man gives him an infinite potential and freedom to progress. Even the physically challenged, like Hawking, is or mentally challenged, like John Nash, would achieve great things. Then, what to talk of those who have all their faculties intact? If we feel limited or capable, then it is only by our own thoughts and imaginations. If we think we can achieve, we are free to do so, and then we truly can. What is the freedom that we as humans enjoy? That we as humans enjoy. अत्र कर्म ज्ञानेच्छादि स्वातंत्र्यमुपलब्धम्. Here, freedom of action, knowledge, and desire, and so on, is available. Man is the roof and crown of creation. He has the freedom of thought and action which enables him to tap his infinite potential, freedom of movement. An inert object cannot move by its own will. Electricity propels the blades of the fan. Rooted in one place, the plant grows. Animals move within their territory. The Siberian cranes traverse thousands of miles following the same path to the same destination year after year, generation after generation. However, man breaks all barriers of sound and space and travels even to the moon in zero gravity environment. Speech. The inert cannot communicate. Plants respond to thoughts and emotions. Animals communicate with their own species and some with others. Man alone has such an advanced speech that he has developed languages and literature for self expression and communicating his deepest emotion. The most abstract concepts and the loftiest of thoughts. He has even trained animals to communicate better and invented sophisticated instruments to enhance his speed and ability to communicate through mobiles, computers, and whatnot. Survival. Plants and animals depend totally on the environment for their survival. They can do little to overcome unconducive climatic conditions. They thrive only in their natural habitat. The king of the desert, camel, cannot survive in a tropical forest, but man adapts, survives, and thrives everywhere on earth and makes the environment conducive and comfortable for his growth and progress. Choice in thought and action. Animals are guided by instincts. Animals are guided by instincts and have no choice in thought and action. Man too has instincts but also a well developed intellect which allows him to choose. He can therefore do something, do not do it, or do it differently. कर्तुम शक्यम अकर्तुम शक्यम अन्यथा व कर्तुम शक्यम. The horse is choicelessly herbivorous. Man can choose to be a fruitarian, vegan, vegetarian, or non vegetarian. With special efforts, he can absorb the required nutrients to survive through water, Jalabhakshi, or air, Vayubhakshi. Freedom in action. Just as there is freedom, there is also an inherent restriction in every system. When we eat beyond a limit, when we eat beyond a limit, the food is vomited out. To choose to do good and be good within the restraints of the circumstances is freedom from action. Freedom, our birthright. Because of his inherent nature of freedom, man cannot tolerate infinitude and slavery. A man cannot tolerate finitude and slavery. He protests against all attempts to curb his freedom. Teenagers typically rebel against parental restriction on their movement, even if for a time being, even if for a time he is forced to accept restrictions, something in him seeks freedom. Suppression of this freedom of thought speech, and action of societies and nations has led to the rise of freedom movements, wars, and revolutions. The famous words of the great Indian freedom fighter Lokmanya Tilak sums it well. Freedom is our birthright and we shall get it. This is the fundamental right given in all democracies. The spirit of independence always prevails. How should we use this God gifted freedom? तच्चोत्कर्षार्थम योक्तव्यम न तो स्वपर विनाशाय. That should be used for raising oneself and not indeed for self destruction or others' destruction. Make or break. We have infinite potential, the ability to tap it, and the freedom to do so. This freedom is like a double edged sword. It can make us or break us. Speed and power without brakes and direction result in accidents and death. If controlled and directed, it can rocket us sky high. Strings by themselves have no music when they are fixed to the guitar with the right tension and strummed by a, an adept musician. They produce melody and give joy to all. Joy to all. If they are loose or tight or played without rhyme or reason, they produce noise. The neighbor asked the boy, what can I give you to stop playing your new harmonica? Freedom from action. The lazy and fearful make the choice of inaction, akartum shakyam, not to do what we should do, can also harm ourselves and others. For example, a student neglects his studies, or parents do not work and earn to support the family. Make your choice. Puja Gurudev said, not to do what you feel like doing is freedom. To do whatever you feel like doing is licentiousness. To act on your whims and fancies can lead to the destruction of ourselves and others, as in the case of drunken driving or overspeeding. True freedom is to curb impulsive and harmful tendencies and redirect our energies into creative, fruitful, and meaningful channels. Puju Gurudev therefore gave the Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, youth wing of Chinmaya Mission, the motto harnessing youth potential through dynamic spirituality. The treasure trove of potential seems to be or abused in many of us. Where is it and who has the key to it? तदर्थमपेक्षिताः सर्वशक्तयः स्वस्मिन्नेव निहिताः. All potentials needed for it are kept in oneself only. Knock and the door shall be opened. The infinite potential and the ability to tap it are right within each of us. Most of us do not believe we have it or that we can get it. मुझको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मैं केवल विश्वास में. The musketeer runs here and there in search of the fragrance emerging from its own navel. The thirsty fish in the pond searches everywhere for water. It is indeed laughable. पानी में मीन प्यासी, मुझे सुन सुन आवत हाँसी. Not only is the treasure trove with me, but the key to open it is also with me. In fact, both are the same. The key is the treasure. My inherent potentials themselves enable me to progress. What is this invaluable gift that I already possess? शक्तयस्तु काय वांग मनो बुद्धि स्थिता बहिस, and exercises like athletes and others through austerities like yogis have accomplished unbelievable physical feats. Variety is the spice of life. The organs of perception can hear, feel, see, taste, and smell. Thousands of sounds, textures, colors, and forms, tastes, and smells, respectively. How enriched is our life due to that? How enriched is our life due to that? Speech. Amongst all the organs of action, the speech is the most powerful. Words have the power to inspire, motivate, hypnotize, whip up emotions, instigate, demoralize, kill, or enliven. It is a powerful tool of self-expression, making and breaking relations and communication. Mind. Even an ordinary mind has the capacity to receive and store information much more than hundreds of computers. The mind can rule over matter and other minds. The mind can feel the deepest and most sensitive emotions and intense peace and joy. It functions at an unbelievable speed. It takes 8 months for light to travel from the sun to the earth. 8 minutes. It takes 8 minutes for light to travel from the sun to the earth, but a fraction of a second for the mind to reach there. It performs thousands of functions simultaneously and efficiently. What can be achieved by us? What can be achieved by us when we put our minds to it? What cannot be achieved by us when we put our minds to it? Intellect. The various intellectual abilities of man, like creativity, imagination, analysis, understanding, organizing, sensitivity, and so on, are and their infinite potential and use have opened up a whole new world of fascinating experiences, path breaking discoveries in fields like science and technology have changed path-breaking discoveries in fields like science and technology, have changed our lifestyles, influenced every aspect of life and the way we think and respond. It has given rise to sophisticated modes of communication and transport, machineries and gadgets, and unbelievable feats in air, water, and space. A man reciting the entire encyclopedia forward and backward would surely leave us spellbound. Extraordinary powers, siddhis, like becoming featherweight or heavy, giant size or minuscule, walking on water, levitation, and so on, are all achieved through channelizing our physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual potentials. The sky is truly the limit for what we can do with what we have. We only have to realize this. A child threw tantrums each day, demanding a mobile phone, expensive toys, and new clothes from his mother, who could hardly make two ends meet. She took him to a saint, asking him to guide her son. The saint asked the child, "Will you agree to give me something in exchange for money to buy what you want? I will give you 10,000 rupees for each of your fingers, rupees 25,000 for each of your thumbs, 5 lakhs for your eye." The child realized that he was worth billions and that he could work to get whatever else he needed. He never complained thereafter. Once in his childhood, Swami Vivekananda heard his friends bragging about all what wealth each of their fathers would give them. Swami Vivekananda ji went home and asked his father what he would give him, what he would be given. His father made him stand in front of a mirror and said, "I have given you what you see in the mirror, a young, healthy body. Now you create your own wealth." How can we harness this great potential that lies within us? तासामभिव्यक्तर्थं तु जीवने श्रेष्ठं लक्ष्यमावश्यकम्. But to manifest them, a great goal in life is necessary. Necessity, the mother of invention. Many of our potentials have manifested out of necessity to survive or thrive. A police officer tried catching a weak looking thief who escaped. When asked why the thief outran him, he said, "I ran as part of my duty. He ran to save his life." His motivation, his motivation was greater. Great potential may at times manifest out of necessity, But usually, if your goal is within, but usually, if your goal is only to survive, your work enough, you work enough only to survive. If you just want to pass, you study just enough to scrape through. Role of goal in manifesting potential. How much strength do we need in lifting this book? Not much. To lead something, to lift something heavier, a lot more strength is needed and utilized. We can also increase our ability to lift heavier and heavier objects by practice. But why should we practice when, for most of us, the heaviest object that we need to lift is just ourselves? But a weightlifter who decides to win in the Olympics practices day and night in order to lift the gold medal. The higher the goal, the greater is the potential that we manifest. Goals enable us to perform to our potential. Role of goal in overcoming obstacles. Edmund Hillary said, I did not conquer Mount Everest, I conquered myself. When the great mountain stands before us, beckoning us, we can more easily overcome our moments of weakness. Therefore, higher the goal, greater is the ability we manifest in overcoming the obstacles from within and without. How should we go about setting great goals? द्विविधं हि लक्ष्यं प्राथमिकं चरमं च. Twofold indeed is this goal, the immediate and the ultimate. Goal setting. Setting the right goal is important. Understanding of goals helps us to set right goals. Goals can be divided into the immediate, intermediary, and the ultimate final. The intermediate goals can be further divided into immediate goal is what we need to do today or in the immediate future. Often people plan for the for a great future ahead but waste their present. A well planned daily routine gives us time to utilize our present well. Short term goal is what we join is what we plan to achieve within the next 2 to 4 years. Long term goal is what we want to be in the next 5 to 15 years. Children have only immediate goals and live in the present. बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः. The youth plan their short term goals, dream about long term goals, but often do not plan and waste their present in indulgence. Tarunastavat Taruni Satta. As adults, they are too busy in the present and plan only for future financial security. The elderly live in the worry of fulfilling their immediate and short term goals. Vruddhastavat chintasata. Alas, none think of the ultimate goal. Parame Brahmani kopi na sakta. Goal for every role. We play many roles in our lives. For every role that we play in the present and we shall play in the future, we can have we shall play in the future, we must have a goal. What type of a son, student, spouse, professional, parent, citizens, or grandparent do I want to be? What should I do to achieve that? We usually make plans and work hard only for achieving professional, parent, citizen, or grandparent do I want to be? What should I do to achieve that? We usually make plans and work hard only for achieving professional goals. We do not empower ourselves to become ideal citizens or spouses. Some only put forth efforts when relationships are on the verge of breaking. Ultimate goal. Everyone seems to have a different goal in life, but are they really different? Is there something common in them? Do we all not want to be happy at the end of the day? The doctor, the actor, or social worker all want never ending and ever increasing happiness. We all want eternal and infinite happiness. That is the only ultimate goal of every human being, irrespective of their age, nationality, religion, class, or color. How are these goals interrelated? एतयोर्मध्ये सामञ्जस्यमावश्यकम्. There must be harmony between them. Harmonizing goals. The primary goals should become means which lead to the ultimate goal. They should empower us in actualizing our dreams. They should be like rungs in the ladder of success, each elevating and taking us closer to the highest. The house owner shooed away a beggar at his door. Beggar said, "Talk respectfully to me. I am the author of the bestseller, 100 Ways of Becoming Rich." Man said, "Then why are you begging?" Beggar said, "This is one of the ways." One wonders whether such a means will make him rich. Another man wanted to become a billionaire by marrying a billionaire's daughter. Surely an easy means, but not very commendable. One man wanted to go from rags to riches by stealing a bank. Even if he succeeded in it could just lead him back from riches to rags. A case of gold leading to a gaol. Ultimate the ultimate goals should be both right and righteous if you want ultimately to be happy and peaceful. There should not be contradictions between the goals. One who dreams of climbing the Everest and remains ever at rest will never reach even its base camp. In order to realize your dreams, you have to wake up and move in the right direction till you reach your destination. It is observed that even though the tests come from outside, the lessons are learnt inside. Even though the intermediate goals may be external, like becoming a doctor, their result is experienced within as satisfaction and joy, which is what we ultimately want anyway. Is there an example which illustrates a harmonious interrelationship between goals? यथा मोक्षप्राप्तये चित्तशुद्धिः, just as purity of mind for gaining liberation. Liberating mind. Bondage is to identify with the false and consequently suffer. It is due to ignorance that of our true nature. Liberation is the attainment of eternal and infinite happiness, our ultimate goal, by the removal of this ignorance. Therefore, self knowledge is the direct means to liberation. However, only one who has a pure, subtle, and concentrated mind can gain self knowledge. Therefore, purity of the mind is the primary goal of a seeker of liberation. He diligently follows means like worship, puja, repetition of the name of God, japa, or performs actions without selfishness and with the attitude of surrender to God, karma yoga, in order to gain purity of the mind and ultimately liberation. ईश्वरार्पितं नेच्छया कृतं चित्तशोधकं मुक्तिसाधकम्. उपदेश सार, third verse. Chapter 3, Empowerment. Are we finite or infinite? Manava purusharthas सीमितः. Human efforts are limited. Living with finitude. Human potentials are infinite, but human efforts, however great, are finite. Even the most prolific writers manifest but a little of the immeasurable treasure of knowledge within them. Every machine, instrument, or vehicle, whether man made or God made, has its limitations of form, function, and materials. It undergoes wear and tear, breaks down, needs overhauling or repairing. The human body, mind, intellect, and the external resources available to man, time, place, and circumstances, all of these condition human efforts. The elderly in frustration say, "My mind is young, but body is old and does not cooperate. The young get swayed by the moods of their minds and the temptations of the body. Financial constraints, political environment, climatic conditions, or social norms or all influence human efforts and achievements. Even our maximum efforts are at times not enough to bring results. External empowerment. I may be finite, but I can always enhance my capabilities with external help. My computer may be slow and have limited capacity, but I can always upgrade it, increase its storage capacities, add on accessories, and improve its overall performance. My idea can be backed up by venture capitalists, programs managed by event managers, energy boosted by vitamin supplements and energy drinks, my spirit kept high by motivational gurus, and the country can forge military and economic alliances. The Chinmay Organization for Rural Development called has women empowerment programs and Chinmay Yuva Kendra conducts youth empowerment program YEP. This of course work to augment, supplement, support, increase, enrich and enhance our capacities and efforts. We do become more effective and successful, yet all of it has its limitations. How much and for how long can another help? Energy drinks give us only a temporary boost. The bank that I bank on can go bankrupt. The external factors themselves are limited, and thus their help too is limited. Is there a source of unlimited empowerment that we can plug on to? सर्वशक्तिमदीश्वरस्यानुग्रहेण तु सलक्षगुणो भवति. With the grace of the omnipotent Lord, however, that becomes a million times more effective. The finite and the infinite. One who is himself dependent cannot be totally depended upon. Help from one who in turn seeks another's help may sometimes leave us helpless. But if we depend upon and seek help of one who is independent, support of all, infinite in strength, knowledge, wealth, and virtues, we will be ever supported. If I plug on to the very source of all inspiration, light, and nourishment, I will always be inspired, enlightened, and nourished. I will gain infinite strength eternally. The roadside beggar was pleading, if you give me 1 paisa, the Lord will give you 10 lakhs. तू 1 पैसा देगा वह 10 लाख देगा. The passerby remarked, then why don't you give 1 paisa to someone else to ask God directly? Instead of focusing on our limited efforts and possessions, we should focus on our infinite potential and the infinite grace and strength of the Lord. The great poet Kalidas worshipped goddess Kali and was blessed by her. During his time, there was another great poet called Dandi. When goddess Kali was asked who was greater, to the surprise of all, she said, Kavir Dandi na samshayaha. She explained, Kavi Kalidas is my own self. Twameva mama kirtanaha. How can I praise myself? Such was the greatness of Kavi Kalidasa and the power of her blessings. It made him one with the infinite power of the Lord. How does one plug on to that infinite source of empowerment? तस्मात् तमेवाश्रित्य पुरुषार्थः कर्तव्यः. Therefore, depending on Him alone, efforts should be put forth. Depend on the dependable. When one is added to one, it becomes two. But when one is put next to one, it becomes 11. My efforts get multiplied a millionfold when they are supported by the one Supreme Lord. Hanumanji could not even protect Sugriv from his brother Vali, but once he surrendered to Sri Ram, he could fly over the ocean, face many obstacles and challenges, even the mighty ten-headed Ravana. Understanding well the power of His grace in our efforts, Hanumanji advised Vibhishan to take refuge in Sri Ram. From a puppet in the hands of Ravana, Vibhishan thereafter became the king of Lanka, a feat impossible to accomplish merely by his efforts. They alone are successful. What makes life truly beautiful? तेनैव वस्तुतः शोभनं दिव्यं सुखं तेनैव जीवनं वस्तुतः शोभनं दिव्यं सुखमयं च भवति. By that alone, life becomes truly beautiful, divine, and happy. His presence, the Lord is truth, auspiciousness, beauty, Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. He is peace, auspiciousness, and non-dual Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam. He is existence, consciousness, bliss, Satchidananda. In His presence and with His blessings, not only do our efforts become a millionfold effective, but our life too becomes beautiful, auspicious, peaceful, and joyful. Pleased with Hanumanji, Sitaji presented him with a pearl necklace. Hanumanji bit each bead and spat it out. Shocked, Sitaji asked him what he was doing. He said, I am trying to find Sri Ram in them. Without him, everything is senseless and worthless, and so I am discarding them. Do troubles really follow the great? Shreyansi Bahuvighnaneti Prasiddham. It is well known that great goals have many impediments. Tough luck. Unlike poles attract the good people and good undertakings seem to attract obstacles and difficulties. It appears that noble endeavors have to face many more ignoble forces. It is therefore said, Shreyansi Bahuvignani, great goals have many impediments. Troubles seem to follow the great, but do they overtake them? How do they respond to them? People respond differently to obstacles. Many do not even start any great work out of fear of obstacles. Some start but quit when the obstacles come. A rare few, no matter what the difficulty, just keep moving. प्रारभ्यते न खलु विघ्नभयेन नीचैः प्रारभ्य विघ्नविहता विरमन्ति मध्याः विघ्नैः पुनः पुनरपि प्रतिहन्यमानाः प्रारभ्य चोत्तमजनान् परित्यजन्ति. नीति शतकम verse 27. They alone are successful. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Even when everyone else leaves them. Swami Vivekananda's clarion call was, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached." How do the great overtake troubles? तदा निराशा निरुत्साहादिदोषानुत्सृज्य धैर्यं चात्मविश्वासं च दृढीकुर्वन् साधनमार्गे अग्र एव प्रस्थितव्यम्. At such moments, giving up dejection, depression, and so on, and strengthening fortitude and self-confidence, one should keep marching ahead on the path of success. Great ways, obstacles, difficulties, and hiccups in any task that we undertake generally cause people to lose confidence, become impatient, dejected, depressed, or frustrated. Enthusiasm gets dampened when expectations are not fulfilled. Such negative feelings prevent us from putting forth further efforts. Such feelings themselves become obstacles to success. One man said, "In the beginning itself, I had a feeling that things would not work out. Then I followed your positive thinking philosophy. It worked. Now I am positive that things will not work." It is this subjective feelings that become major problems. Also, someone said, a problem is that which you start seeing when you lose sight of your goal. When you lose your focus and get distracted from the goal, even small obstacles look big and get us down. The great never allow external difficulties to get them down. They accept that when you drive during office hours, there will be traffic. There is no need to complain or get angry. Even when obstacles knock them down, they immediately bounce back and move ahead. with renewed enthusiasm and fortitude, never losing their confidence and poise. Obstacles then become their stepping stones to success. A scientist failed in his experiment several times. Undejected, he said, I have discovered 20 ways of how not to do the experiment. With the 21st way, I will find out how to do it right. Try, and you succeed. A king lost a battle and fled from his kingdom. He was living in a cave in the forest. There he saw a spider trying to climb a thin thread but failing at each attempt. The spider did not give up but tried again and again till it succeeded. Inspired by the spider, the king gathered his forces and attacked the enemy again and again till he succeeded. Some resort to shortcuts or unrighteous ways when their initial efforts fail to give results. A, a gang had a motto, try again and again. If you don't succeed, try again. This do not work. A man was drinking heavily at a bar. A monk approached him and asked why he was looking so miserable. Seeing the compassion in the monk's face, the man told him that he had lost everything in a business and that he was now drowning his sorrow with alcohol. The monk said, if drinking will solve the problem, I will pay for your drinks and help you out. This shook the man and he sat up to listen. The monk continued, have you really lost everything? You lost the money, but not the mind that made it. That is still with you. Don't destroy that with drinks. That became the turning point in the man's life. He went on to become a great businessman. Self confidence and patience. Swami Vivekananda ji said, people think that one who does not believe in God is an atheist, but I say that one who does not believe in himself is an atheist. It is strange that people ask how to regain confidence and patience after losing them. They are not interested in learning how to retain them in the first place. Once you lose them, it is more difficult to regain them. Confidence expresses as I can, I too can, despite everything I can. Determination is I must, and patience is I will. Despite everything I will. Such positive thoughts strengthen us and motivate us to march ahead. Poojya Gurudev's clarion call to all of us was we can, we must. Can there be a common solution to our varied problems? भवतु लौकिकसमस्यानां समाधानं तु आध्यात्मिकदृष्ट्यैव. Let all worldly problems be solved only by a spiritual vision. Many problems, one solution. Varied problems come to us unasked. The most important thing is how we look at them. The solution to all worldly problems should be from a spiritual standpoint. Faced with the great Mahabharat war, Arjun, the mighty hero, too was overwhelmed as the war involved the lives of thousands, amongst whom were his friends, relatives, dear and revered ones. He sought advice from Sri Krishna, his friend, philosopher, and guide. The Lord did not give him a worldly solution nor allow him to indulge in negative thinking. He gave him spiritual knowledge which transformed his vision and thinking. The war was no longer a problem to learn away from, but a situation, a challenge to be faced. The cause of his grief and hindrance to action was his own confusion regarding his role and duty. Right thinking removed his division, and he thereafter fought the war and won. Problems are of various types: factual or objective, prejudicial, relational, attitudinal, and so on. Illness, troublesome daughter in law, alcoholic husband, unemployment, inflation, political unrest, or natural disasters are objective problematic situations. Some may have subjective overtones, past experiences, narrow vision, stereotype thinking, likes, dislikes, or miscommunication could cause prejudicial, relational, and attitudinal problems. Lateral thinking, common sense, hard work, right information, skill, open mind, sensitivity, love, and so on could help resolve objective and subjective problems to a great extent. However, the first step is to look at the problem as a situation, to remain calm and poised enough to think rightly and act accordingly. For example, how should one view a chronic disease? What cannot be cured has to be endured. Should I hate the disease, lament, complain, and curse, or forbear it cheerfully? It could be my overall it could be my overindulgence that has caused the disease. Hoge roga bhayam. Or it could be the sins from my previous births that resulted in the disease. Urvajanma kritam papam roga rupena jayate. The This could be a good chance to exhaust the bad karmas, to develop endurance and sympathy for the pain of others, understand who truly loves me, and think deeply about life. In spite of working hard and earning well, a man was able to make ends meet. was unable to make ends meet. He should ask, am I spending judiciously? Am I buying things which I do not need with the money I do not have to impress people I do not like? After all, what is the goal of life? Will getting all I desire will make me happy? Insults pull us down, and praises can go to our head. So, how should we view praise and censure? Most of us react to situations rather than respond. To get puffed up or feel dejected or retaliate would be a reaction. We must see praise and the good heartedness and generosity of the one who praises. We should drink, we should thank the one who censures us for pointing out our imperfections. Thus, a spiritual standpoint alone gives us amicable and lasting solutions. Is a spiritual vision alone enough to solve every problem? एवं कर्म निरतो वश्यमेव सफलतां प्राप्नोति. Thus, steadfast in action, one certainly achieves success. Knowing and doing. With a spiritual vision, we can clearly see the situation we face as it is and what, if anything, should be done to resolve it. Thereafter, doing or not doing as per our knowing alone will get us results. Arjun could not have won the war if he had not acted on the understanding based on the spiritual knowledge he received from Sri Krishna. Categorizing success, the sutra says, Vyashti samashti rupena safalatapi dvividha. Success is also for two kinds, of two kinds, individual and total. I wish to become rich, so does the society and nation. Individuals can individuals make the total, but does the totality always prosper in the prosperity of the individual? Often not. That that is why we that is why we have a few poor nations and unbelievably rich individuals with unbelievably rich individuals. But do individuals always prosper in the prosperity of the in the prosperity always prosper in the prosperity of the totality? Have we not seen separation of individuality and exploitation by individuals in the name of prosperity of the total in communist countries? Can the success of the individual and totality ever be balanced? If not, what is the result? तयोर्मध्ये सामञ्जस्यमस्तु. Let there be harmony between them. अन्यथा नर्थः, otherwise there is calamity. भवतु सर्वभूतहितकरा सफलता. Let ignorance, let, let success be a blessing to all beings. Wholesome individuals in harmonious whole. An individual's growth at the cost of others or overall prosperity at the cost of individual is undesirable. If others around us are unhappy, how can we be happy? Our happiness is reflected in the smiles of people around us. Yet, if we remain unhappy in keeping all happy, uh, unhappy in keeping all happy, that too is undesirable. There has to be a fine balance and harmony between the success of the individual and the total. A sportsman playing in a team cannot be a solo player. He cannot think only about achieving his individual records and laurels. He has to become a team player. His inspiration and surrender become greater when the team plays for the country. When the team wins, the individual gets his laurels as well. Chak De India, a movie on Indian women's hockey, demonstrated this well. Disproportionate growth of the individual's wealth, that too by unfair means, by exploiting others, suppressing their individuality and rights, uncaring for their needs and aspirations, cause disparity. Disproportionate growth of the individual's wealth, that too by unfair means, by exploiting others, suppressing their individuality and rights, uncaring for their needs and aspirations, causes disparity, unrest, and sorrow. The Britishers exploited all the colonies over which they ruled. Does such power and prosperity last? A limb that grows disproportionately as it elephantiasis, or cells that grow rapidly, as in a cancer, only make the body unhealthy and in some cases cause death. However, some individuals take good care of their employee, some others even of their families or the entire township where they are based. Some industries even adopt neighboring villages for development, thereby creating a harmonious atmosphere of growth and prosperity. Individuals may have learnt to care for the society or country they live in, but are we always sensitive about living in harmony with the whole universe, or at least with our world? That alone would be called sustainable development and growth. Presently, research in science and technology can ensure that we live in an eco friendly way. It is only our short sightedness and selfishness that does not allow individuals and nations to do so. We are therefore facing universal calamities like global warming and food shortage, equality and well-being. We must also understand that all limbs in our body can never be equal. Everyone in society cannot have equal power, wealth, or resources. An activist demanded from John D. Rockefeller, "You are one of the richest men in the world and also considered a great philanthropist. You should distribute all your wealth equally to mankind." He said, "True, my total wealth is X, the number of human beings are Y, so each person get 10 cents. Will the sharing of my wealth equally help any individual? There should be the well-being of all, including the individuals. That is true success. Such success alone is a blessing for all." Is not hard work most important for success? Workable tips. Is not hard work more important for success? विश्रामं विना परिश्रमो न करणीयस्तथैव च कार्यं विना विश्रामः. Do not work without taking rest, and do not rest without doing any work. All work and no rest. All living beings in creation have been pre-programmed to balance work and rest. Even the hard-working ant and the alert watchdog rest. Man's constitution, like most other beings, is made to work during the day and rest at night. Sleep, especially at night, rejuvenates and refreshes us so we can work with energy and enthusiasm during the day. With the discovery of electricity, we have now lit up our nights with daylight brightness. We have now chosen to do at night all that we would do in the day. We play night cricket, go for all night parties, indulge in late night TV watching, study, eat, work, and socialize. The artificial lifestyle has had its toll on our body and mind. We feel exhausted, irritable, and inefficient throughout the day. We have before us enough stories of so called high achievers. We hear of young CEOs with huge pay packets, jet setting around the world, working around the clock, and their success stories are featured in top business magazines. Many of them suffer from peptic ulcers, become workaholics, are always under tension, and very soon get burnt out or talk of retiring by 30. Doctors warn them to slow down, and when they do not do so, their health grounds them. We hear of cases where the heart created by God to last for 200 years stops by 30. Strangely, no one except the boss is happy with someone who works all the time. Such people are in constant stress, their family is dissatisfied, the children never see the parent, and the spouse is disgruntled. Colleagues in office are envious and friends are non existent. What is the use of success when there is no happiness, peace, health, or harmony in our life? Some people do not know how to rest or relax. They are by nature restless and agitated. This makes them do something all the time. Some sleep with their mobile phones in bed and are disturbed through the night by unimportant message notes. Some feel guilty to be caught resting. Some feel that only if they do something all the time will they be called productive and efficient, and that remaining always in action mode will make them successful. Some feel that they should rest only after all the work is finished or after that X task is over, however long it may take. So they trudge on exhausted. Remember, work never get finished. It only finishes us. Also, we never be given rest time. We have to take out rest time. We have to make mind. We have to take time or take time out. We have to make time or take time out. All rest and no work. Some follow the law of inertia and refuse to work till they are pushed to do so. Poojya Gurudev said, if you rest too much, you rust, both in body and mind. If we do not use our body and mind, we loosen them or lose them. In conclusion, do not work restlessly or with less rest, and also do not rest worklessly or with less work. The body and mind will be of no use if we misuse, we abuse, or disuse them. They should be used well for peak performance. The next sutra emphasizes the role of both thinking and action in success. विचारहीनं कर्म तथा कर्महीनो विचारश्च विफलतायाः कारणम्. Thoughtless action and actionless thought are the causes of failure. Thoughtless actions. The opposite of what results in success becomes the cause of failure, like hard work leads to success and laziness to failure. Well thought of actions and thoughtful actions result in success. Whereas thoughtless acts and actionless thinking are fruitless. Right thinking must precede all actions. Some do not think at all, some not enough, and some do wrong thinking before actions. Such attempts result in suffering and failure. Gita 18th chapter verse 25 calls thoughtless acts tamasic as those done without thinking of the consequence, thinking of the consequences of how much time, money, and resources are spent, the harm caused to others, and one's own ability or capacity. Indiscriminate, rash, whimsical, impulsive, and sentimental acts are also called thoughtless. A woman left her child sleeping in the cradle and went to get water from the village well. On her return, she was greeted at the door by the pet mongoose with blood on its mouth. In a shocked state, she thought that the mongoose had harmed her child. She killed it in anger and rushed to the child. It was sleeping peacefully next to the dead cobra which the mongoose had killed. She thereafter deeply regretted her thoughtless action. Many act in haste and regret at leisure. Actionless thinking. Many keep on thinking, planning, or dreaming of what they should or will do, but never do anything. A man lay in bed for hours, planning to wake up and exercise. Finally, he slept exhausted. When asked, he said, I exhaustively thought of exercising. That was tiring, so I slept. This is wasteful thinking, meaningless daydreaming, or fruitless preoccupation. If we do not act according to our thoughts or ideals, our thoughts fall back to suit our actions. Buddhik karmanusareni. The gap between what we should be and what we are makes us feel guilty and lowers our self esteem. We compromise our goals and become non achievers, never tasting the true joy of success. If people ask for ways of becoming unhappy, here is a sure formula. प्राप्तस्योपेक्षायां तथा प्राप्तस्यापेक्षायां दुःखस्य सुरक्षा. Sorrow is safe in ignoring what you have and longing for what you do not have. Formula for sorrow. We organize our life in such a way that it would be surprising if we were not unhappy. It may sound contradictory, but even though we want to be happy and successful, we think and act only in a way that would guarantee sorrow and failure. One such way is to ignore what you have and crave for what you do not have. When our attention is on we when our attention is on what we do not have, we become discontented. When our attention is on what we do not have, we become discontent and feel unfulfilled. If we focus on what we have, we feel blessed and fulfilled. I complained that I had no shoes till I saw a boy who had no feet. Also, what I have is more important than what I may get in the uncertain future. A bird in hand is worth 10 in the nest. Some ignore the guest who has come and wait for those who have not. A well known speaker saw only a handful of people as he entered the large hall. He turned angrily at the organizer. Nobody has come? Where is everyone? One person from the audience said, "Do not worry, everyone may not come, but I have. You may start your speech." Till we get a desired object, we think a lot about it. When we get it, we enjoy it for a short while and then it loses its value. Thereafter, we take it. Thereafter, we take its presence for granted or may even forget about its existence as our mind is already preoccupied with the next desired object. We therefore remain empty and unhappy. We rarely count the many blessings we receive each day. Simple joys of life like fresh air, good health, or love of parents are valued only in their absence. What we do in the present sets the direction of where we shall go in the future. When we use what we have, we can also gain what we do not have. Don't stars shine when the stars shine? ग्रहदशापेक्षया मनोदशा समेक्षणीया. Take care of the state of your mind more than that of the planets. Blame game. Everyone wants to own success and blame their failures on others, be it bad luck, nasib, wrong position of stars, grahadasha, or curse from elders, pitrudosha, unconducive circumstances, or like the unconducive circumstances or lack of encouragement or support. But can we really blame others for our failures and sorrows? Can we blame others for our failures and sorrows? The realized one says, neither are people, deities, planets, fate, nor bad times the cause for my joy or sorrow. It is the mind alone due to which the whole world revolves that causes our joys and sorrows. नायं जनो मे सुख दुःख हेतु न देवतात्मा ग्रहकर्म कालः मनः परं कारणमामनन्ति संसारचक्रं परिवर्तयेत् यत्. भिक्षु गीता श्रीमद् भागवत कैंटो 11 chapter 23 verse 43. Also, are outside circumstances in my hand? Can I change them? Can I change my fate or the position of the stars? I realize that I cannot either blame them or I realize that I cannot either blame them or change them. Both joy and sorrow exist in my mind. I can choose to be happy or unhappy. Hence, my mind alone is the cause for my joy and sorrow, and I can change it also. A child goes to an astrologer to ask why his balloons always burst sooner or later. Are the stars a problem? What should he do to set them right? Many of us behave in this childish way for our little things that go wrong in our life. A child, whilst playing, gives you a toy. After some time, he comes and take it away. Do you get overjoyed when you get it or dejected when it is taken away? But we cry when a Toyota given for our pleasure is taken away. A weak mind thus a weak mind blames, complains, and reacts. We should therefore make our mind strong rather than worrying about the position of the stars. Strong mind tactics. The strong mind does not cry over spilt milk, but accepts the situation it faces. Being alert, sensitive, understanding, and poised, it exercises its choice. It chooses its attitude, chooses to get influenced or it chooses its attitude, chooses to get influenced or remain immune, and chooses its response. Circumstances cannot overwhelm a strong minded person. Do I have to do everything? Will God or nature not help me in getting results? कर्मभागस्वाधीनः फलभागस्तु प्रकृतिवशैति विजानीयात्. Know that to perform action is in your hands while its result depends on the laws of nature. तस्माद् यत् स्वाधीनं तत् स्वेनैव कृत्वान्यस्य चिन्ता परिहर्तव्या. Therefore, do what is within your control and do not worry over the other aspect. यथा भोजनं स्वेनैव क्रियते पाचनं तु प्रकृत्या. Just as eating is done by oneself but digestion by nature. Do your best and leave the rest. In the achievement of anything, there are two parts. One part is in our hands and we should do it. The and we should do it. The other part is not in our hands and we should allow it to happen. Every action yields a reaction or result. Action or doing alone is in our hands, never the result. कर्मण्येवाफल कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन. Gita chapter 2 verse 43. The scientists and atheists say that the results are according to the law of nature. If we clap, there will be sound. The devotee says that the results are in God's hands. God presides over all actions, karma adhyaksha, and ordains all results, karma phaladata. The karma yogi has the attitude, what I do is my gift to him, Ishwar Arpan Buddhi, and what I get is his gift to me, Prasad Buddhi. Ultimately, we realize that we have freedom only in action and not in the results. Hence, after having planned our goals, we should focus on doing our best to achieve them and not worry about the results. We eat food and it gets digested. Thank God. Left to us, we might postpone it or forget to do so. We do not even need to know how it happens. Similarly, we prepare the ground, sow the seeds, and water the plants. It grows and flowers on its own. Our problem is that we do not do what is in our hands and worry about what is not in our hands. A man prayed each day, God, may I win the lottery. He never did. In anger and frustration, he shouted, God, give me a break. I need to win. God replied, you give me a break. At least buy the ticket. We must do our part well and then we can safely leave the rest to Him. You apply, He shall reply. When we have not locked the house and we get robbed, we feel, I am a fool. Why did I forget to lock? When the thief breaks into a locked house, we do not blame ourselves but say that the thief is smart enough to enter a locked house. Some consider half hearted efforts as their best. The boss asked a sloppy, self righteous typist, is this your best? I wonder if this is your best. I wonder what is your worst. We must put in sincere efforts. Then alone do we have the satisfaction of doing our best, and we need not then worry about the rest. Chapter 5, Harmony in Relationships. In life, our attitude depends on our inner altitude, depth. What should be our attitude while dealing with people? Jana adaraniya, vishwasaniya, natu shankaniyaha. Shankaniyaha. People should be respected and trusted and not suspected. Maintaining relationships. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. We should behave in the same manner in which we want others to behave with us. Since I do not like others to lie to me, I too should not lie to others. This becomes the basis of all relationships, be it professional or personal. Living in harmony with people is always difficult. Some find it easier to deal with animals or machines since they are, to a great extent, predictable. There are two types of people, those who have difficulties and those who are difficult. In workplaces too, there are two types of people, those who work and those who take credit. This strains personal relations. A man asked the hotel receptionists, do you have a room where I can put up with my wife? Many couples only put up with each other. Some are living together, some can't even live together, and yet others cannot live with each other or without each other. Strange and difficult are humans and human relationships. However, we cannot avoid either. What should then be our attitude whilst dealing with people? Respect, don't suspect. Some people start their relationship with suspicion. They look upon everything that the other person does with doubt. They mistrust others till proved trustworthy. Relations become difficult and strained if one is put to test and has to prove oneself all the time. One would become tense, unnatural, and self conscious and can never act spontaneously with suspicious people. It would become difficult if the law believed that all accused are guilty till proved innocent. Also, a doubting Thomas is never happy. One who is always auspicious destroy himself. Samshayatma vinashyati. When we trust others, we invoke the goodness in them. In case they prove untrustworthy, we learn to be more cautious. Our experience, however, should not make us mistrust all. It should make us more alert so that we do not get cheated or fooled. We look up to people who have qualities we value. If I value money, I respect the rich. We can always find something we value in others if we look deep enough and so learn to respect all. Respect and trust form a firm foundation for all relationships. When we see faults in others, it shakes our respect and trust. How should we deal with it? स्वदोषान् प्रति कठोरोऽन्येषां प्रति तु कोमलो भवेत्. One should be strict with one's own faults but be tender towards others' faults. SC versus TLC. We should take strict care, SC, of ourselves and tender care, loving care, TLC, of others. But we behave the opposite way. We are tender towards our own faults and harsh in judging others. More often than not, we justify our faults by saying, to err is human. We consider our mistakes and misdeeds minor and easily forgive ourselves. Because of this justifying, self indulgent, and self forgiving attitude, we never change or improve. We should not be indulgent towards our negative traits, should deeply regret or our wrongdoings, be firm in exercising self control, and uncompromising in following values. We should thus take strict care of ourselves. A desire for kheer, a sweet dish made of milk, arose in the mind of Samartha Ramdas. As he sat for meditation, he ordered for several pots of it and kept drinking it, despite vomiting it several times, saying, "You wanted it, so drink it." Such revulsion was created within that the desire never disturbed him thereafter. We want others to overlook our shortcomings and forgive our wrongdoings. However, we do not do the same for them, realizing our own imperfections. We should be tender towards their faults. Even if we are perfect in many respects, we should still be large hearted and kind towards the imperfections of others. Is love governed by rules? पारस्परिक स्नेह विश्वासे वर्तमाने विधि नियमा अनावश्यकाः. If there is mutual love and trust, then rules and regulations are not needed. अविद्यमानेऽपि अनावश्यका यतो निष्फलाः. In its absence also, they are not needed because they don't work. Love rules, mistrust fails. A dictator passed a law that everyone should love and respect him. They showed their love by bowing before him and giving him gifts. The priest commanded everyone to love thy neighbor. A man changed his house in order to follow the commandment. We cannot love or trust another by command or rules. Love happens when we identify. In the world, some rules are formed and written, and some are unwritten. When love rules, there is harmony and no formal rules are needed. In a close knit family, there are unwritten rules, like each takes care of the other when sick, supporting each other financially and emotionally, or helping in doing household chores. A husband told his wife, "Let us eat out today." The wife said, "You think I am tired of cooking?" The husband replied, "No, but I am tired of washing the dishes." Unwritten rules based on love and trust are strong. Half a century back, there were many villages and small towns in India where people never locked their houses or vehicles. A person is more likely to be faithful despite temptation so as not to betray the trust of a loved one. He may have cheated more easily if the trust of the loved one was not involved. We find that laws are made, agreements are read, and treaties are signed, constitutions are formed, rules are formalized, job profiles are specified, support is pledged, help is sanctioned, and deals are authorized. Agreements for distribution of property after divorce are signed even before marriage. However, when love and trust is lost, these agreements do not work and there is strain and strife. What creates forever relationships? कस्यचिदपि सम्बन्धस्याधारो यदि लौकिकस्तर्हि स बन्धनकारक आध्यात्मिकस्तु मुक्तिदायको भवति. If the basis for any relationship is worldly, then it is binding, but if it is spiritual, then it is liberating. Lasting bonds. A worldly relationship, be it with objects or beings, is based on material benefit. The girl asked the boy, "Do you love me because my father is going to give me a lot of money?" "Certainly not," said the boy. "I will love you even if your mother gives it." The relationship breaks when the benefit ceases. A boy declared that he loved the girl because of her beautiful hair. When she lost her hair, his love got lost. When the relationship is spiritual, it is strong and lasting. God appeared before God appeared before his great devotee Prahlad and killed his father who was torturing him. He told Prahlad to ask for a boon. Prahlad said, "O Lord, beholding you is the greatest attainment. I love you for your own sake. I do not desire anything from you." When the Lord insisted, he said, "May I have no worldly desire ever. When my intentions are noble, I do not ask, what did I get by serving the society? Instead, I ask, did society benefit from my service?" Some form a worldly relationship even with God, gurus, and spiritual organizations. There is no inner unfoldment, and such relationships too cause pain and can break. A man lost faith in God when his desire for promotion was not fulfilled. Another disowned the Guru, who he felt did not respect him enough. Some may become members of spiritual organizations for gaining respect in society, post of president, or to get free accommodation in their centers all over the world. They feel pained when they do not get the expected respect or when the position or the benefit is withdrawn. When we forge a spiritual relationship with worldly objects, they become means of inner unfoldment and liberation. Money by itself is not binding. It can become a means to serve the society. The house can be used for honoring great people, hosting guests, and holding satsangas. The self in me is the self in all. Then, is not everyone like myself? As mentioned earlier, should I not be to them as I would have them to be, as I would have them be to me? आत्मवल्लोकान् पश्येन्न तु तथा भावयेत्. One should look upon people as one's own self, but do not consider them to be like oneself. सुखदुःखादिविषयकस्वकल्पनामन्यस्मिन्नारोपयेत्. One should not impose one's ideas of joy, sorrow, and so on others. तेभ्यः स्वातन्त्र्यं प्रयच्छेत्. Give them freedom. Oneself, different minds. The self in me is indeed the self in all. Therefore, we should treat all as oneself. Atma Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati. I desire to be happy, respected, loved, and forgiven by all. So I should, in turn, make others happy, respect, love, and forgive all. However, it takes all types to make the world. Variety is the spice of life, the quality of our mind, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Intentions, attitudes, likes, dislikes, and beliefs differ. Each person has a different way of thinking and different opinions about things. Munde munde matir bhinna. Understanding this, we should not impose our likes, dislikes, and beliefs on others. I may like classical music, others may not. One has a right to live according to one's belief as long as it does not harm others. I may be spiritual. I cannot expect all to be so. Another may be an atheist or a ritualist. If I insist that all should be like me, I become rigid, a fanatic, or a dictator. I cannot consider myself superior, my opinions alone as right, my way as the only way, and my words as gospel truth. We cannot say, do it my way or hit the highway. Each of us has the freedom to be as we wish. Also, my mind itself is constantly changing. How can others keep changing their thoughts and behavior to suit my mind? Why should they? We should respect others' right to their thoughts, behavior, and lifestyle. We should agree to disagree and live and let live. Only then can there be harmony in relationships. Chapter 6, Relating with Things. On what basis do we prioritize our relation with things and beings? जडपदार्थेभ्यश्चेतनप्राणिनः श्रेष्ठतराः. Living things are greater than inert objects. तस्मात् जडपदार्थानां कृते प्राणिनो न विनाशयितव्याः. Therefore, for the sake of inert objects, living beings should not be destroyed. Lifeless is less. In the ladder of evolution, living beings are definitely superior to inner objects. Life is indeed precious. A scientist told God, "You have become obsolete. You can now create life by we can now create life by cloning." God retorted, "Good. Try doing so with a dead cell." Inert objects can be created and destroyed, but life cannot be created, only destroyed. A man threatened another with a gun. "Money or life?" The man said, "Might as well kill me. What is life without money?" Inert objects have their uses and importance, but surely not more than life. It is indeed sad that wars are fought and families break up for the sake of wealth and property. Man is even willing to kill for the sake of money. Demons like Hiranyaksha, Hiranya plus Aksha, one whose eyes are on gold or wealth, are still in plenty. Such people value dowry more than the bride. The one story from the Bhagavatam highlights such a materialistic attitude. Soon after Sri Krishna's birth, the people of Gokul went for a picnic. Mother Yashoda left the sleeping baby Krishna under the shade of a cart loaded with pots of milk and butter. When he woke up, he got irritated and toppled the cart with a kick. A demon residing in the cart was killed. The pots came crashing down, spilling all the milk and butter. His family and villagers came running at the sound and realized the lesson taught by the Lord. The inert should not be given a higher place in the life than the sentient. I know of a man who marketed cigarettes. One day he changed his profession as he felt, how can I make money by promoting that which destroys others' health? How should we value values and valuables? मूल्यवत् पदार्थेभ्यो जीवनमूल्यानि श्रेष्ठतराणि. The values of life are greater than valuable goods. तैस्सम्पन्नः पुरुष एव सम्माननीयो न तु केवलो धनसम्पन्नः. A person endowed with them alone is worthy of respect and not merely one with riches. Invaluable values. I ask collegians, what do you want to become? A person of values or valuables? Merely an efficient and rich professional or also a good human being. Valuables are valuable, but values are invaluable. We find professionals like doctors exploiting the helplessness of patients, lawyers resorting to malpractices, politicians who are bought for a price, and sportsmen who fix matches. A person may be applauded for what he has, but he is respected truly for what he is. We know that if money is lost, something is lost. If time is lost, something precious is lost. But when character is lost, everything is lost. Fire is bright and brilliant, its flame burns upward. None can touch it. Water flows downwards and is trodden upon. We respect a person who is upright and disrespect one who compromises his values and slides down. Many complain that possessing both values and valuables together is not possible. Honesty does not pay. So make money by being dishonest. Some do not have the opportunity. Some do not have the opportunity and are too frightened to be dishonest, so they are grudgingly honest. A government official complained, I want to take bribes, but no one gives me. Superficially dishonest may dishonesty may seem to pay, but we realize that actually honesty alone pays. A dishonest person cannot declare his dishonesty. He has to claim to be honest to continue his dishonest ways. A dishonest businessman takes great pains to employ an honest accountant and a trusted servant. In the court, a jewel thief swears that he has not stolen. He is acquitted. He then asks the judge cheekily, does that mean I can keep the jewels? A person worth $1 billion may still be worthless. Values are indeed more valuable than the valuables, as they alone give us lasting fame, respect, peace, and joy in life. What happens when we do not have a clear value system? आदर्शहीनः प्रलोभने पतति नश्यति च. One without ideals falls prey to temptations and perishes. Compromise and sacrifice. If you do not stand for something, you will fall for everything. Falling prey to temptation and giving up our values is called compromise. Without withstanding temptations and living up to our ideals is called sacrifice. In both, there is renunciation. In the former, we renounce the higher for the sake of lower. In the latter, the lower for the sake of higher. A corrupt politician compromises, whereas a patriot sacrifices, both in the name of the country. One who compromises his values may seem to flourish literally initially, but ultimately is seen to perish like Ravana. One who compromises falls in his own esteem as well as in the eyes of others, whereas the one who sacrifices is respected and idolized the world over, especially in Indian culture. When we receive a sannyasi renunciate, we worship him with the words, not by actions, progeny, or wealth, but by sacrifice alone does one get immortality. Sri Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Sitaji have become our ideals only because they sacrificed to uphold dharma, righteousness. Does that mean that inert objects have no place in life? आवश्यकतानुसारेणैव जडपदार्थेभ्यो महत्त्वं स्थानं च दद्यात्. Material objects should be given importance and place according to one's needs only. Correct placement. Inert objects have their use and must be given their due importance. A handkerchief is needed when we have running nose and warm clothes in winter. Objects should be given their due value and respect. A man casually threw his footwear and approached a saint for knowledge of the truth. The saint said, "You show no respect for the shoes that protect your feet. What respect will you have for the knowledge that sustains and protects your life?" The vehicle we use should be cleaned, fueled, and serviced. The machines well maintained and the house tidied. Without inert objects, our life could become uncomfortable, difficult, and impossible to live. However, they should not be given an undue place of importance. A guru's sandals are placed in the prayer room and worshipped as they symbolize the ideals he stands on. But our own shoes are left outside the house. We should remain masters of the things we use and not get dependent, enslaved, dominated, and overwhelmed by them. The idiot box should not dominate family time, and mobile phones and emails should not replace person to person meetings. Attachment and addiction to things can only cause sorrow. We should therefore live by the dictum, a place for all and all in their place. Inert objects, living beings, relationships, and values, all are all of them have an important place in our life and should be given their due importance and priorities. Chapter 7. Mind Your Mind. Shanti, 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 Shanti. What is most precious to man and how does he lose it? Kama krodha divikaranam navashamagachet. One should not come under the sway of vices like desire, anger, and so on. Manashanti viveka nidher nashakatvat. They, with the destroyers of the wealth of mental peace and discrimination. Piece to pieces. We would not easily put at stake what we value. We safeguard whatever we consider precious, like our health and wealth. However, we seem to give away easily and allow others to loot away that which is most precious and invaluable, our ability to think and discriminate, and our own peace of mind. The slightest provocation, a hint of an insult, a minor discomfort, an imagined loss, a worry or desire, anger or jealousy, any of these disturbs our mental poise and disrupts our thinking capacity. Once lost, it takes a lot of time and effort to regain them. To remain totally unaffected by likes, dislikes, anger, etc. may initially seem impossible, but we can become aware of them arising within us and not getting swayed and swept away by them. We should not allow them to overwhelm us or hold our joy and peace at ransom. A woman complained that her husband was temperamental, 50% temper and 50% mental. How does one overcome anger? The simple solution is do not get angry. Doing takes effort, not doing does not take efforts. Getting angry takes effort, not getting angry does not. Strangely enough, we are all putting efforts into not getting angry. Also, when we realize that likes and dislikes and resultant desire, anger, greed, delusion, arrogance, and jealousy are our enemies, Shad Ripu, and value mental peace as true wealth, we will not give in to them so easily. Tayor navashamagachet. We will recognize them as wayside looters, paripanthinau, who destroy our knowledge and wisdom. Jnana vijnana nashanam. I do not get provoked, but do I provoke others by my words and deeds? Paresham chetasi chatannotpadayet. One should not give rise to them in the minds of others. Good begets good. Good begets good. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. I do not want others to provoke anger in me, instigate my jealousy, tempt my desires, and promote mine any negativities. Likewise, I too should not do so in others. Some take great pride in the fall of others. They take perverse pleasure in tempting others, making them break their vows and resolutions of or prompting them towards wrong ways, bad habits, and sinful deeds. We should be sensitive to the fact that our words and actions can provoke or tempt or create desire, anger, and the like in others. A weak mind easily falls prey to outside temptations, whereas a strong mind cannot be provoked by them. How should we make our mind strong? श्रद्धा भक्त्यादिगुणान् संवर्धयेत् अन्येषां हृदि च जनयेत्. One should develop virtues like faith, devotion, etc., and also kindle them in the hearts of others. Replenish your inner resources. Desire, anger, jealousy, and the like deplete and weaken us, whereas virtues like dispassion, compassion, faith, and devotion replenish and strengthen us. A rajasic, agitated, and tamasic, dull mind creates sorrow, whereas a sattvic, alert mind bestows peace. We give what we have. A peaceful person spreads peace. He or she can motivate and inspire others by his or her thoughts, words, and deeds. Peace and joy in others get reflected as peace and joy within us. Hence, in developing virtues in oneself and others, all are benefited. Can we make our life a continuous learning experience? विविधानुभवैः सर्वदा स्वात्मानं शिक्षयेत् यस्मात् ते अर्थपूर्णाः. Always educate yourself by a variety of experiences since they are all meaningful. Bank on learning. Experiences are the building blocks of life. Every experience is important and can become meaningful and contribute to what we are. Sri Buddha saw a sick man and a death procession that set him thinking about life and death and transformed his life. We need to open an account in the bank of learning and deposit each day our earnings and learnings from each experience, thereby increasing our balance of knowledge and wisdom. This capital can be banked upon in facing the trials and travails of life. The Guru teaches us what we should be, the bad what we should not be. Sorrows can mature us and pressures can steal us. Success can boost us and failures can sober us. No experience, however sorrowful or insignificant, is wasted or in vain. Newton discovered the law of gravity when an apple fell on his head. What can the lessons that we should learn from the tests of life? न केनाप्यनुभवेन कटु भवेदपि तु मधुरतरो हि भवेत्. One should not become bitter by any experience, but only sweeter. Not bitter, but better. The lessons we learn from the experiences of life depend entirely on us. In going through experiences, some become weaker and bitter, some stronger and better. Betrayal of trust, false allegations, bereavements, insults, exploitations, and the like could make us bitter, hard, and cynical. However, these very same experiences could transform and mature us and make us stronger. Sant Ekanath was spat upon many a time by a person. Such an act would have made us livid. However, Sant Eknath, without reacting, bathed each time again. Finally, when the man fell at his feet, Sant Eknath actually thanked him for giving him an opportunity to bathe in the holy river so many times and thus purify himself. Experiences can break us or make us. Bored in the daily prayer session that Poojya Gurudev had to attend as a child, he entertained himself with a game of visualization and concentration on the form of God. This in latter years helped him in meditation. Experiences test us and challenge us. They can bring out the best in us. During times of crisis like wars or natural disasters like earthquakes, people are known to do superhuman or inhuman acts. How we face life, what we learn from our experiences, and how they mold us depend entirely on us alone. Does pain make us or break us? पीडाहीनो लाभस्तथा लाभहीना पीडा नास्ति. There is no gain without pain and pain without gain. Gainful pain. Pain is in a way a blessing. Pain indicates a problem. If there is no pain, people may not even become aware of some diseases like cancer spreading within them. If and when the pain comes, it may be too late to do much. Pain is unacceptable and we wish to be rid of it immediately. We search for a cure and put forth every effort to be rid of the problem or disease. Pain focuses our attention. Our mind does not go anywhere when in pain. Also, sorrow humbles. Joy makes us complacent and attached. Sorrow initiates inquiry and creates dispassion. Adversities test our commitment, convictions, and values. They are mature, strengthen, and they can mature, strengthen, and transform us. Most importantly, in adversities and sorrow, we remember God. दुख में सुमिरन सब करें. That is the greatest gain. Devotees who have turned to the Lord in suffering have become great saints. Kunti prayed to Sri Krishna, may adversities always come in our life. Vipadas santunas shashvat. As we then remember you intensely, you save us from calamities and we experience your grace. Painful gain. In every pain there is a gain. There is gain. We have to sacrifice something in order to attain something. We lose the innocence of childhood and gain the joys of youth. Subhash Chandra Bose said, "Give me blood and I will give you freedom." Many lives were lost in gaining India's independence. Poojya Gurudev underwent many hardships as a seeker and later to set up the Chinmaya mission. In fact, it appears that the great face extra doses of pain and adversities. The great face extra doses of pain and adversities. We should therefore not be afraid of pain and adversities, as in every pain there is gain and in every gain there is pain. Does anyone have everything in life? प्रायः सर्वेषां जीवने यत्किञ्चित् अपूर्णत्वं दृश्यते. Generally, in everyone's life, some kind of incompleteness is seen, unavoidable void. Some have more, some have less, but none have everything. There is always something lacking, something missing, something incompleteness in everyone's life. Some have plenty of wealth but no children to inherit it. King Dasharatha had power, wealth, wives, and good subjects, but no children. Some have a child who is wild. The parents got a ransom note from their child's kidnappers, which read, "We will return the child if you do not pay up." Some lead a life without a wife. Some have health without wealth, others wealth without health. Some countries have material prosperity but spiritual emptiness. Some have natural resources but inadequate human resources or technology to tap them. Some have democracy but no governance. Some have governance but no freedom. No individual, society, or country has everything. All are incomplete. How should we fill this void in our life? तस्य पूर्ति लौकिकपरिच्छिन्नसाधनेन न साध्या किन्तु पूर्णपरमात्मनैव. It should not be fulfilled by any worldly finite means but by the infinite Lord alone. Fill in the blank. We generally feel that by adding more of what we have or acquiring what we do not have, we will become fulfilled. So people marry, earn more, beget children, and buy things to feel fulfilled. To feel fulfilled. By marrying, the need for a spouse gets fulfilled, but another need arises and the emptiness still remains. We do not feel truly replete. In this world, even if you win the rat race, you still remain a rat. Worldly, finite objects and beings cannot make us complete. There is no fulfillment in finitude. Na alpe sukhamasti. True fulfillment can come only by gaining that which is infinite. Bhumaiva sukham. Hence we should seek to feel the emptiness within with the infinite Lord alone. One story says that Lord created this beautiful world. Man became completely involved in enjoying it. Someone asked God, "Will not man forget you?" God said, "Not likely. I have left some incompleteness in everyone's life that will bring man back to me. In me alone will he find true fulfillment." Sant Tulsidas said, "In the Lord alone do I find supreme peace and rest." Payo Parama Vishrama. How should we live a fulfilled life? पूर्णदृष्टिमाश्रित्य पूर्णमेव जीवनं जीवेत्. With the vision of the whole, live a whole life. Holistic vision and life. Life is multifaceted. We have many roles: personal, professional, social, and goals: material, spiritual. To have a partial, one sided, fragmented, or petty view can make us confused, deluded, or fanatical. A national leader cannot fulfill only regional agenda. International trade laws should not be made to suit only a particular country's interest. Life has manifold aspects. To look upon one aspect as one's whole life, to give disproportionate importance to certain aspects, or to ignore some facet will lead to lopsided development, confusion, and sorrow. A person in love declares, "You are my life," If anything happens to you, I will die. People who are physically healthy but emotionally unstable, intellectually brilliant but spiritually empty, harm themselves and others. The various aspects of life merge with each other to make a seamless whole. Every form, hue, and pattern has its own place and importance in the big picture of life. We must therefore learn to see and enjoy the entire picture. Is there an end to learning? Nantosti Jivan Sutranam. There is no end to aphorisms on life. Yasmadaparo gadho hi vidya sagaraha. Because endless and deep indeed is the ocean of learning. Book without end. There is no end to learning and also to the book of learning. Each experience can teach us many invaluable lessons. The knowledge and wisdom drawn from the experiences of life, both written and unwritten, spoken and unspoken, are endless. A few have been penned here in the form of aphorisms. These can become tips for happy living. Words that inspire and guide you can be picked up from the scriptures, from wise men, or from your own experiences in life. Many such books can be filled from the rich experiences that life provides each of us free of charge. Endless indeed are the aphorisms on life. What is the most important tip for happy living? न कदापि कुत्रापि कस्यचिदवस्थायामपि भगवन्तं तस्य कृपां च विस्मरेत्. At no time, place and situation should one forget God and His grace. Sarvottamam hidam sutram. This indeed is the best aphorism. Never forget God. It is indeed He who gives existence to us and our world. It is because of Him that we live and experience life. He is the very cause and substratum of all. He is the source of all happiness, peace, and love. How then can we forget God? Never forget His grace. His love and grace is endless. To become aware of His blessings alone is true blessing. The sun always gives light. In fact, the sun is light incarnate. A person who closes his doors and windows lives in darkness. One who throws them open is surrounded by light and warmth. When the earth turns away from the sun, there is darkness and night. When the earth faces the sun, it is day. Young Prahlad remembered God always. He called out to the Lord of his heart, Narayan, as he was thrown over the cliff, drowned in the sea, and burnt in the fire. He escaped unharmed and unperturbed as he experienced His grace always. The last sutra says, Anena sarvatmako bhagavan sadguruscha priyetam tadanugrahena sarve cha sukhino bhavantu. May the Lord, the Self of all beings, and my Guru be pleased with this, and by their grace may all be happy. Last but not the least, the sutra started with Atha, which invokes auspiciousness. By the grace of God and Guru, we have reached so far in this endless journey of learning. The journey was indeed joyous and free from obstacles. God, Guru, and the Self are different forms of the same truth. Ishwaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine. There are many ways of worshipping them. Some do so with flowers. Here I attempt to do so with words. These words are neither exotic nor extraordinary. The ideas expressed also may not be unique or breathtaking. They have been handpicked from my garden of experiences. May the Lord and Guru be pleased with my simple and humble love filled offering. May their grace be on all, especially those who walk the path of good and seek Him. May all be happy. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Om Tat Sat. हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम श्री सीतारामचंद्रार्पणमस्तु. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः.